Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nirisha Sriramoju, one of the trainer in Sankyana Consultancy Services. Today, I'm going to discuss how analytics is going to improve community health. So, using analytics to improve the community health is what our topic about. So, let's discuss the agenda of today's discussion. So we are going to discuss about how access and outcome the problems all about, and later we will discuss about the policy and health benefits impact. Along with that, we are also going to see contents about IT system impacts as well as the whole person care. What is this whole person care framework and all about? So let's start with access and problems outcomes. So problems with access and outcomes. So many people fail to receive the necessary healthcare, especially those with complex care needs or behavioral health conditions. Many care providers and plans label these people as non-compliant or resistant to treatment. So, or simply we can call them as unmotivated to follow through on care plans. So, but research indicates that there are often other explanations for people's behavior. Perhaps they lack transportation to treatment facilities, or they need help remembering to take their medication or perform exercises at home. A child may live in a home that lacks sufficient structure to meet their care needs. Whatever the root cause, when patients do not adhere to their medical treatments, the outcomes are less than optional. So, this leads to repeated expensive treatments like emergency visits and hospital admissions. And in some cases, law enforcement must be involved. So, broadening the definition of health. So, let's see about one story which plays out millions of times across various countries each year. Why? Because traditional healthcare systems define health and well define health and wellness too narrowly and are designed for the convenience and operational efficiency of healthcare institutions and providers, not individual patients. So, while these systems excel in handling a higher volume of care and sometimes at less cost per intervention, so they fail to account for and address the conditions that shape health in the environments where people live, work, and play. And as we will see, this is critical to improving health outcomes, reducing per capita costs, and improving patients' experiences. So, what is valued in the policy is what is measured, and what is measured ends up driving individuals' actions, treatment plans, and interventions. So, research has increasingly exposed the bidirectional impacts of the social determinants of health. Structural and demographic drivers like socioeconomic status, housing, economic development, and education heavily influence the community conditions and patient engagements that determine the health. The correlations on the impact of these types of determinants is so strong that the person's zip code can be more reliable predictor of their health status and life expectancy than their genetics. So, failing to address these social determinants of health appears to be your root cause of people disengaging from care, resulting in non adherence, poor health outcomes, and even earlier death. So, this is particularly true for disadvantaged segments of the population and people with severe mental illness who often die an average of 28 years earlier than the general population. So, what does this whole person health care means? It will enable better outcomes, experiences, and costs clearly. Federal, state, and local governments, managed care organizations, and policy makers must redefine and reconceptualize. So, health to be more holistic by including social determinants, strengths, and non health outcomes. Treatment compliance as treatment adherence, becoming more person centered, recognizing the legitimate barriers to care and focusing on your health system's role in treatment activation. Value and return on investment to include multiple health and non health systems, such as the human impact of all services. That is, it is going to strengthen based performance outcomes on individual lives and the community as well. So one of the leading ways to achieve these goals is use of a whole person care framework. So this framework creates a more complete and accurate understanding of people's need, that is nothing but the barriers to care, by looking across information from physical health, behavioral health, and non health systems, including your social services and the criminal justice. So, a more holistic understanding of needs and barriers supports action at both individual and system or even the policy levels. So, at the individual level, care coordinators and providers can have a more complete view of a patient's need and overall risk. So, this view is particularly valuable when working with vulnerable populations which are uniquely complex and thus frequently require tightly coordinated interaction across multiple systems such as your hospital, social services, and housing to improve an individual's health. Furthermore, access to individual level information can raise awareness of barriers to opting into healthcare and other services, which increases empathy from providers and empowers care teams to connect people in need with the appropriate supports. So, at the system level, whole person analytics can identify opportunities for quality management, improvement, monitor performance improvement, and demonstrate a more accurate assessment of service impacts. So, providing evidence for system wide services helps inform policies, for example, by demonstrating the value of your critical but often unappreciated interventions. So, when health, that is, pattern non health systems, have a more complete view of the people they serve and how these systems affect the population they serve. Decision makers can identify how systems and policies themselves are contributing to poor treatment, engagement, and adherence. So, these insights can drive data informed policy making, better leadership, and changes to benefit packages as well. So, ultimately, this will improve access to the care. So, for the first time, public agencies can seamlessly transition from analyzing patient trends to acting in real time on targeted, effective actions. So, what are the policy and health benefits impact? So, whole person health approaches at work, SAS is already seeing the impacts of early whole person health programs at work. Several initiatives, like including several within Medi-Aid, are transforming and restructuring health systems to prioritize holistic outcomes over volume and care coordination, as well as integrated care over care delivery as well. The Centers for Medicare and Medi-Aid healthcare improvement programs, particularly such as your delivery system reform, incentive programs, and whole person care, which is in California, are a providing ground for whole person care models. So, in addition, value based funding models like accountable care organizations are and many other behavioral health clinics and patient centered medical homes are providing additional examples grounded in longer term payment arrangements. So, the federal, state, and local governments, as well as public and private health plans, have the responsibility to oversee and administer a variety of health and social service programs that provide services to our most vulnerable populations. That is, currently public healthcare systems are undergoing ambitious delivery system transformations designed to maximize the healthcare value and outcomes for high need beneficiaries. So, what are the implications for health policy and technology? So, a whole person can care framework has huge implications for health policy and the technologies that state and local governments use to operationalize population health management. As they embrace more whole person definitions of health, their policies, programs, and even benefits packages will need to change accordingly. So, starting with what they value, what is valued in policy is what is measured, and what is measured ends up driving individual actions. That is what we have seen previously as well. So, for example, reducing hospital stays is mostly valued, then all treatment focuses on avoiding major problems that would lead to immediate hospital stays, often to the exclusion of other important factors such as resiliency and social determinants. But if an organization valued reducing hospital stays and enhancing relationships and social support for the patient, which is proven to improve treatment adherence as well as the health outcomes as well. So, it would drive adoption of interventions that would achieve both outcomes. So, patients would be understood and managed in the context of their daily lives, have more social determinants of health addressed as part of their treatment plans, and have a greater chance of better and their lasting health. So, further focusing on outcomes that are more holistic, which is going to promote better person centered care. So, it is going to encourage care providers to see individuals as more than just healthcare burdens who fill up hospitals, overuse of your emergency departments, and waste law enforcement resources. So, rather, people in need must be seen as valued members of the community, like your veterans and volunteers, mothers and fathers, and neighbors and friends who need some resources to help them navigate complex health systems or issues. So, adopting this perspective can have a powerful effect on the nature of traditionally negative focused stakeholder, provider, and policy dialogue. So, this is particularly important given the existing stigma and discrimination associated with the behavioral health conditions. So, how might policies and health benefits change if we valued and measured whole person outcomes such as the strengths and social determinants? That is by means of our IT system impacts. So, for these programs and other transformational efforts to improve outcomes, public entities will need new capabilities to collect, integrate, and analyze data from a wide variety of sources to compile a whole person view of each individual. So, this will enable a better understanding of their health and wellness challenges, barriers to compliance, and more. So, care providers can address their health, physical, and social determinants of their health as well. So, in addition to drive ongoing quality improvement in care coordination and system integration throughout these transformational initiatives, IT needs new kinds of metrics and insights into performance outcomes. So, this requires more functionality than even the leading care coordination and management software packages on the market today. Such tools will inevitably be limited by the constraints of the original package design, so which is going to be typically built with the mature data quality, aggregation, and generalized ad hoc reporting and analytics capabilities. So, one of the research institution like Gartner refers to this reality in a recent paper, like saying healthcare payers pursuing technology support for a comprehensive population health management program will not find it in a single vendor in today's market. So this makes it even more essential to rigorously evaluate care management workflow vendors' abilities to participate in an ecosystem of applications within the department, across the enterprise, and often outside of the enterprise. So for this reason, organizations will need to look beyond their current software provider for the solution. So that will develop or deliver sophisticated data management reporting, as well as reporting and analytic functionality, as a strong data foundation with a singular focus on analytics itself. So this foundation must be flexible enough to be used with various care delivery tools and adjust to meet changing reporting and analytical needs. So access to integrated whole person information can raise awareness of barriers to opting into healthcare and other services as well. So this will increase empathy from providers and going to empower care teams to connect people in need with appropriate support. So one of the alternative IT approach is to build a strong data foundation with a singular focus on analytics that is flexible enough to be used with the care delivery tools and can be adjusted to meet changing reporting and analytic needs as well. So this approach creates an infrastructure with the data warehouse as well as repository for both program reporting and evaluation and long-term system-wide planning and policy development. So SAS understand what needs to deliver on the whole person health vision. So here we are going to understand about the whole person care, where we use our predictive analysis and visualization capabilities to improve outcomes and reduce for public agencies and private plans. We can combine our state of the art visualization and cutting edge analytics. So capabilities of SAS such as artificial intelligence and machine learning functionality to calculate a risk with clinical and behavioral data. So identify the population risk changes in real time, and we can alert care teams to priority issues and actions. So in addition, we can use new visualizations on dedicated dashboards. Teams can expand population views and drill down into conditions, subgroups, geographics, and demographics. For example, so public agencies can predict and understand future trends on population risk to better forecast cost and service utilization. So for the first time, public agencies can seamlessly transition from analyzing patient trends to acting in real time on targeted effective actions. So SAS analytics solutions are already being used by state and local governments to enable whole person healthcare approaches. There are just a few examples, like a large country behavioral health department which is partnered with SAS in Southern California to develop an enterprise data warehouse and analytics solution. So this solution was foundational to quality improvement and program evaluation work. So it also provided insights into behavioral health outreach and engagement services that the country used to inform your whole person care waiver project. So in addition, this was also used in its whole person care projects to integrate physical health, behavioral health, public health, housing, and jail health data sets. So and ultimately provide a customized risk scoring and stratification system to identify high utilizers of multiple systems. So one of the nation's largest countries and health agencies has used SAS to develop an integrated agency wide enterprise data warehouse, data management, and analytics solution as well. So this solution was recently enhanced to support health agency wide analytics and evaluation. So the system is now used for population health planning and evaluation, including identifying ways to help member department best collaborate. So we need to understand the characteristics and utilization of its most frequent users, or like familiar faces we can say. So of these systems, in an effort to break the cycle of recidivism and provide more cost effective services and interventions. So this project focused mostly on the jail, emergency medical services, and homeless services to provide a more complete picture of the familiar faces and understand the pattern of unproductive and unhealthy behaviors. So by understanding its familiar faces, we can now ensure they are proactively targeting programs such as your subsidized housing to the appropriate at risk individuals as well. So we can think to explore and develop new risk scoring methodologies using a tool built with SAS technology. uh, this group created a risk stratification approach customized for high utilizers of multiple public systems who are homeless. So, a key element of this development was not relying just on traditional cost or utilization counts, but rather using existing data to identify revolving the door patients or people not appropriately utilizing healthcare services as well. So this methodology has been presented in multiple venues and replicated by others seeking to better serve those with the highest needs. So a state department providing a variety of social services including support to child or the children and youth used SAS to gain a better picture of the children and families who have been abused and or neglected. So by looking at 18 factors ranging across health and social determinants, this department now has a better and more complete understanding of family needs, so which will enable staff to recommend the best treatment and interventions. The department uses text analytics to determine which services families and receiving that may only be documented in the case note. So using SAS analytics, the state can also estimate the cost of publicly funded services for the larger population as well. So how analytics or SAS analytics can facilitate whole person care? So holistic picture of people being served through integration of a wide range of health and non-health data sources, including sophisticated entity or the resolution to create golden records even with incomplete data sets. So that is standard and custom reporting and analytics to meet regulatory, contractual, stakeholder and quality improvement needs. So descriptive and predictive modeling including cost effectiveness and impacts such as what if. So this what if analysis for different interventions and benefit structures. Support for one time and continuous formal research and evaluation, as well as continuous quality improvement, performance improvement plans and plan do study act cycles. So these are usable insights at all levels from individual patients to system wide views, so including patient reported outcomes and target population identification of their characteristics as well. So facilitation of data driven conversations for any audience via your intuitive analytics visualizations, predictive modeling capabilities to guide quality improvements such as optimal times to provide outreach and engagement, and what if analysis for different interventions and benefit structures. So artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities to constantly learn and improve, ensuring the solution adds value on its own. So how can we reduce the cost and provide members with the very best health care? So what's our goal? We need to identify and engage members who could gain the most from proactive health management. Chronic illness such as referring to diabetes or congestive heart failure, even depression and asthma account for the majority of healthcare expenditures and play a major role in rising healthcare costs through hospitalizations, emergency room visits, poor medication complaints, and deviations from treatment plans. However, such illness could also be managed and real cost savings achieved if care management resources were employed to ensure that those at risk take the appropriate steps at the right time. So, insurers depend on members to hold up their ends of an agreement. From making and keeping appointment to staying on schedule with medications, etc. Ultimately, success or failure in improving health is largely up to the member itself. So, some plans send periodic communications to remind and influence members, that is, to stay in compliance. Such communications are not very effective, but their effectiveness could be improved significantly with a more targeted message and a method of communication as well. So, in addition, the ability to deeper into your data could help uncover hidden trends and nuggets of the information available. So, for example, members with chronic diseases who have mental health are far more costly than expected because they are less likely to comply with their medication plans. That is, however, knowing what members to support can make all the differences in the world. So, what is our approach we are going to use is better compliance depends on successful member communications, and that requires an understanding of member behavior and preferences. SaaS approaches the problem by delivering software and services to help, that is, to improve the relevance and effectiveness of member communications using advanced analytics to understand and predict member behavior, create risk analysis, and you can identify those members who are mostly likely to respond to programs. You can significantly improve the probability of a member staying in the compliance by automating a member communication and response system that lets the plan interact with members over their preferred channel at the time and frequency required. So you can develop a consolidated view of plan compliance by analyzing the results of member interactions and using that information to improve the communication method. So you can uncover hidden trends and information on how diseases produces comorbidities or services related to each other using unsupervised learning algorithms to cull through data and surface issues that were previously unknown. You can gain a greater understanding of the typical pathways that people experience when undergoing particular treatments by using association analytics to look at how diseases progress through a utilization pathway. So SaaS will give you an unlimited opportunity to uncover useful information that can improve the quality of care while reducing the cost. So, what if you could ensure plan effectiveness? And what if you could evaluate plan effectiveness at both a high level and a very detailed level, and know with certainty which segments of population are in compliance and why? Automate communications, that is what we have discussed, that we are going to provide solutions by we can uncover the hidden trends which are there, and the information on how diseases the procedures or the services related to each other. So SAS will give you an unlimited opportunity to uncover your useful information that will definitely improve the quality of the care while it will reduce the cost. So thank you one and all. That's all for this webinar. I am going to conclude this by thanking you one and all for your active participation, and let's meet up in the next webinar.